Well, the scenery looks the same, but it's not the same. It's the other side of the room. No boards up on this side down low, so I'm not going to show you the bare insulation. Angel followed me upstairs. Now she's making herself comfortable on my bed. Yes. She thinks she's got to be wherever I am. If I'm inside, she's got to be inside. If I'm outside, she's got to be outside. Unless, of course, it's freezing cold and wet. No. She draws the line at that. But little Miss Mercy is not very happy with me these days. She had her surgery on Wednesday, and she is now sporting the cone of shame. So she was doing good for a few days. She wasn't messing with her incision, but then I noticed her showing too much interest in that area. So it's like, okay, I guess we do have to put the cone of shame on. So we do. We did. She is not happy, not one little bit. So the poor thing, in order to calm her nerves, I had to put her in Gracie's dog crate because she was just getting way upset. So I put her in there. She settled down. She went to sleep. I opened the crate door and she stayed right where she is, just snoozing away. So she'll get used to it. Hopefully, I only have to have it on her for a few days. I was going to let her go outside, but now she's not ready for that yet, which means I have to have a cat litter box in my house for a few more days. It wouldn't be so bad if it was just Mercy, but Angel, who is a much larger cat, and she has always done this, she makes a huge mess with the litter box. She's like, she can't dig deep enough, and she throws it all over, which is why for Angel, I had to do this for my other cat that I had too, Dusty. I had one of those big cement mixing bins, okay, and that's what I use for a cat litter box, because the little ones that they sell in stores, specifically for cat litter, these big cats have a hard time dealing with it, and they make such a big mess. So with the larger box, it worked out pretty good. But I wasn't going to do that again for Mercy for just a few days. So I had a small one, and so I still had it. I had cleaned it up and stashed it away, and I got it back out. I guess it's a good thing I didn't get rid of it. And I actually had to buy kitty litter, and so she's using litter box. Unfortunately, Angel thinks that she has to use it too because she's too lazy to go outside when it's cold. I'll tell you, cats, kids, children, whatever. Wonder why we get gray hair, right? Anyway, don't mind me. It's been a bit rough today. So we went out to a couples thing last night with our church, and we had a good time. They had finger foods and they played some games, and it was kind of fun. It was fun, but unfortunately, I didn't get to church this morning because when I went out to let the goats out, and they were all filing back, and I get them all to go by me pretty much one by one, okay, to come out, and I'm looking at them, and I'm trying to pet them. Ruthie's still being very obstinate. Ruthie is being very uncooperative. I have a hard time getting hold of her. I tell you, she's like her grandmother. Ruthie is little Miss's daughter, and little Miss is Sissy's daughter. And Sissy's the one that I lost. And if I had been able to have hands on her, then I probably wouldn't have lost her. Well, I might have anyway because I wasn't as informed then as I am now, but um, it would have been a greater chance of me being able to catch the problem. Now Ruthie is being as standoffish as her grandmother, and that's not going to fly. If I hate to do this, but if I can't get her tamed down to where she'll at least let me, touch her and whatnot, she's going to have to go. Because if I can't handle her, unless I can get the system set up so that I can funnel them to a workstation, the workstation being the head chute that will rotate, and my scale and whatever else I decide to put there. It's going to be long enough. I could do probably like three stations. But anyway, yeah, if I can get that done, then maybe I can keep her. But it's like, is this something that's going to continue with that particular line of does from Sissy? So I'm seriously wondering about it, and it's a shame because I think Ruthie's a nice looking doe, but if I can't handle her, if I can't check her for her own health, then there's no point in me keeping her. I hate to do it, but I mean, what am I supposed to do? You know? So anyway, so I've been checking them, and I look them over, and I make note, like, Billy, I have to see how he's walking, and I noticed today that he seemed to have a slight limp again, so I got to check him again. Um, if I was just looking at him wrong, then I'll let it go. But I'm thinking maybe I should just go ahead and give him another treatment anyway, because things have been wet and they're going to get wet again. We got more rain coming in on Tuesday. Anyway, so anyway, I should have grabbed the tissue. The Yeah, so looking at the goats and Sugar, as she's on. Well, now Sugar is sweet. She really is. She lets me pet her. She's really good, and I love on her. She's always let me, love on her. Um, well, as she was leaving, I looked at her backside, and it's like I saw this silver dollar size tissue at her vulva. Okay. And it's like, oh no. So I grabbed hold of her and I put her back in. Um, it was like, okay, what's going on here? That's not normal. I've never seen that before on any of my goats. What is going on? Um, my first thought was prolapse. It's like, okay, first off, she's a first freshener. She's not kidded yet. And I'm pretty sure that happens when they're kidding, or after the fact. I haven't sent a text to my vet yet, but I'm seriously considering doing this. But anyway, so when I touched the area, it went back in. Okay, so okay, is she kidding? I didn't think that she was due yet. Um, I I mean, she's bred. I'm pretty sure she's bred. She's not heavy, and I figured, from what I saw with my own eyes and calculations and whatnot, I didn't think anybody was due before the end of March. Okay. Um, the end of March through into May is what I was figuring. I would make note of when I saw Billy do the breeding, and I would check I would check online. There's a calculator that you can go use online for figuring out what the due date, and every one wasn't until later on. Well, here it is. We're only in middle. Well, I guess close to the end of February. But she shouldn't be kidding. I didn't think for at least another 2 weeks, if then even. Um, so I'm not sure what's going on with her. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe she is due. Like I said, she's not very heavy. Mama, who I'm pretty sure is not due until um, next month, if then. I don't. I mean, Mama's pretty heavy. Um, she still has time to go. She's not really ready yet. I can tell by looking at her. I've seen her, you know, enough times to know that when she's getting close to her time. She's not there yet. But Sugar, I mean, this is her first freshening, and I just not sure um, what's going on with her. I've been going out and checking her every like 20 minutes or so, and checking, and there's been looks like maybe she might be losing a mucus plug, but I'm not sure on that. Um, just different signs, but there hasn't been any other, show of flesh or anything. So as far as I know, all my other goats, that was not the first sign of kidding. Okay, that's not what happened with them. You'd see a little, the sack come out first, a little bit of the sack, but you wouldn't see anything else. So I'm really thinking I probably should text the vet, and just to kind of like touch base with him about, okay, what was I seeing? Is this a normal thing? Or is this something I need to be careful of and I need to keep an eye on? I mean, what is that? Because this is not something I've seen before with any of my does. So it was about a silver dollar size um, pop out, I guess. I don't know what else you call it, of flesh being exposed, pink flesh, dark pink flesh. And so I just don't know. So, and I kept her in all morning, and then when I was just out there, didn't she go and jump the fence? She jumped the fence because I've got a lot of bedding in the pen, and it's raised the floor up a little bit. So I'm not sure how I'm going to deal with that. If I had my other fence up, see, I want to fence in that whole pasture there, and I've got fence. I don't know if I got enough fence, but I have it. It's just a matter of getting it put up. Um, but you know what the weather's been like, so I'm not sure. I really want to get that up, and so that way I can let the goats out without letting them out to roam all over the place. But I can let them have a bigger space. Um, so and just keep that smaller pen by the goat barn as like an area where I can um, deal with them in a closer quarters. Okay, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So I just went ahead and let all the goats out. I had kept couple of other goats in with her to try and keep her calm, to try and keep her in. But the other goats showed up, and then she was gone. So she's like, even with the other goats that were there, her mama was out, and her mama was going downhill. So she's like, I'm not sticking around any longer. I'm going with my mama. So she went. It's like, what am I going to do? You know, I've got a bunch of spoiled goats. They're allowed to run around and free range, and which is good for them. It's good for them mentally. It's good for them physically. They can pick and choose what they eat. I'm surprised they're finding anything, but I guess they might be finding a couple of things that might be trying to come up, because I know daffodils are coming up. So maybe they are finding something. I don't know. I don't know. So she's not really. If she is kidding, she hasn't really progressed very quickly. So I'm hoping, since she went and jumped the fence, that she comes back and there's no issues. Because if she goes kid out and about with her being a first freshener, I don't know. I don't know what she'd do. Would she know enough to clean it? Would she know enough to bring it back? Um, I don't know. I don't know. Of course, Sheba would be there with her, and that's another thing. Sheba was cleaning her up at one point this morning, which is what she should be doing as her guardian. Um, so I don't know. This is where, okay, people ask me questions about goats. I am definitely not an expert by any shape of the imagination. Really, I'm not an expert. I'm still learning. Um, and I just, you know, uh, doing the best I can. I'm doing research and learning as much as I can, but there's some things you can read as much as you want, you can watch videos as much as you want, but when it comes right down to it, there's nothing like, you know, full blown experience. Actually experiencing the issue. Now, I'm not saying that I want to actually have any kind of issues. I don't want to have any problems with my goats, but it is inevitable. I'm going to have them. It's the more livestock you have, the more livestock problems you have. So, um, so I don't know. We'll see. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I guess I was out partying too much last night. I want to call it a party. Well, I guess it was kind of a party. So anyway, like I said, the daffodils are coming up. Um, and I think we've got one more weekend of cold weather. Um, I let the fire burn out in the wood stove this morning. Um, I'm not sure if we'll need it tonight or not. We might. I don't really have much in the way of kerosene, so I probably have to have a little bit of a fire, just long enough to take the chill out. Um, but oh, I gotta stop yawning. I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm sorry. Oh, I thought I slept last night. So my hair is like, it's at that stage where I can't get it to do what it should do, and it's too warm up here to wear the hat. I got the hat, but just getting too warm. So anyway, yeah. So I don't know if I have a kid coming or not. I'm not real sure. It's not really ideal, but I guess if she's going to have it, better to have it like today or tomorrow, because Tuesday is going to be an all-day rain event, and it's been an issue, because there's a culvert that runs under the road just above my driveway, and it's been plugged for a while. And every time it rains heavy, my driveway's getting washed out. And it had quite a bit of washout this last time. And so I called the county road department. I let them know, that, if you don't get a backhoe up here, that it's not going to get better. It's just going to get worse. So he called me back and he said he's going to get the backhoe here on Monday, and hopefully get that culvert cleaned out. And actually, I'm very surprised that this time around, the bottom of my road, was really not that bad. It was barely any sign of any problems at all. But where the problems are is further up the road, closer to my driveway, where the drainage ditch is all plugged up. The culvert's plugged up, the drainage ditch is plugged up. So, there's all the water is being diverted away from the ditch and off over onto the road, and it's a gravel road, so it's getting washed out. So anyway, so the county's supposed to be here tomorrow morning, hopefully. And now when I called them, I took my husband's word because he was the one who told me the road was bad. And when we drove out last night, I said, "Oh well, this isn't as bad as I thought it was." But our driveway the rut is worse. So they got to come and at least fix that. But at least it's not going to be nearly as much of a job as I thought it was going to be. Um, so anyway, that's my crisis that I'm going through right now. I just don't know what's happening with sugar. I don't know if it's just a normal sort of kidding or if there's a problem. Like I said, I didn't think that she was big enough to kid. I wasn't even looking for any signs, but she is a first time freshener. If she does kid, it's only going to be one. I just hope it's not going to be premature. That's my concern because I was not expecting it, not this early. So we'll see what happens. You know, at least with the warm and wet weather, I can get some work done. But of course, we got rain coming in, so that's going to hold me off. We got rain on Tuesday, and I think we've got rain again later in the week. Temperatures are going to be nice, but I mean, most of my carpentry work gets done outside. So, and the plywood that I have for putting on my walls, I can't get that wet because it does not. If it gets wet, it's done for. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. I don't know how long it's going to be before I'm going to be able to get these walls done because, and I wanted to get them done sooner because all this plywood is in the back of my truck because I can't. There's not really any place else where I can put it. So I don't know. Welcome to spring in Kentucky. Now I am going to touch on something. It says I've only got 2 people in here, but I'm going to touch on something that I don't know how many people are following. And I am a horse person, even though I have goats, but I am a horse person still. There was something that happened that for me is extremely upsetting. And I don't know how many people out there are following what's been going on up in Canada. My husband's Canadian. My son is dual. So we have a connection there. Okay. And so we have been following the truckers and the convoys as to what's going on up in Canada. Yeah, we support the truckers, okay, and the farmers and the other protesters because what the government has been forcing these poor people up there to endure is there's no scientific basis for their behavior and the mandates that they have been put down. There's no scientific basis for it. Early on, when we didn't know so much, maybe, okay, I could understand it. But now, 2 years out, no, it's ridiculous. There's no need of this anymore. And I mean, people have suffered long enough. There's no need of the suffering to continue. And all they were trying to do is have a talk with the sitting government, which is Trudeau and the Liberal government. And they flat out refused. They would call them names. They would belittle them. They would disrespect the truckers. I mean, these are people that haul in your food and your goods. Without the truckers, you don't have anything. Okay? If you don't have truckers, you don't have anything. That's what it is. Flat out. No, I like the sign, and it's one similar to what my mother used to keep on her bumper sticker on her truck. They expanded it. No farmers, no truckers, no food. And that's flat out true. Anyway, so I've been watching when I have the time and when they're broadcasting live streaming. Okay, I have been watching the live streams so I can see for myself what is going on. I mean, I can't be there in person, but the live streaming helps you to be there. You can't see everything. Oh, okay. Hi, Heavens Bound Homestead. I have been following every day. Been doing a lot of praying. One good news, they said revival has broke out. That's wonderful. Everyone sees now what the government has been up to. Yeah, same as in the USA. Yes, exactly. People are starting to wake up, and that is wonderful. But there is something that has been painted as fake news. Okay. And I have to admit, well, not that I've been watching any of the mainstream media anyway for a while. Used to watch Fox on occasion. Um, but I heard that Fox ran a story about the woman being trampled by a horse. And then they retracted it and said that it was a made up story, that it wasn't true. The part of their story that was not true was that she had been killed. Okay, that was the only part that was not true. But I'm going to tell you, I watched the videos from 3 different angles. It is clear to even a casual observer that yes, the old woman with the walker, okay, I found out early, I heard today that she was like 74, 76 and around there, okay. So an old woman with a walker, she's not moving very fast, was indeed knocked over and trampled by a horse that was being controlled by a mounted police officer. Flat out. And they have been claiming that somebody threw a bicycle at the horse and was doing harm to the horse. There was no bicycle at all anywhere in the vicinity. Anywhere. And I can tell you something right now. Okay, you want it? Well, maybe they confused the walker for a bike. There is no way. I have handled one of those walkers. My sister had one of those walkers. Okay? You don't just easily pick it up and throw it. Okay? They're cumbersome. They're not lightweight. Okay? Especially for a 76-year-old woman who apparently has medical issues. If she's in a walker, she's not going to pick it up and throw it. So it is true that an old woman with a walker was trampled by a mounted police officer. Okay? That is 100%, no denying it, true. I watch Christian news only. Okay, she was hurt, not killed. Exactly. There. Did you see what they did to the girl reporter? They shot her close up range with a rubber bullet. No, I did not see that. I heard something about it just today. I did not actually see it. So I can't address that. I did see a video where there was a police officer that had his rifle and he was butting the somebody with it. Okay, what they call that? The where they use the butt of the rifle to beat on somebody. He was doing that. I could not see what he was pounding on or who he was pounding on, but he was pounding on somebody. Okay, I did see that. This is all peaceful protest. I have not seen any violence whatsoever from any of the truckers or the protesters. None. No violence whatsoever. And I'll tell you, kudos to them, because with that kind of force that those police officers were bearing down on the protesters, they are so lucky that it did not become hugely more violent. Okay. But the only violence that I saw in any of the live streams that I watched, and there's a few that I subscribed to, there's a few that I didn't, that I was watching, trying to get a full perspective of what was going on. Okay. You saw it live. Oh my. It was horrifying. Horrifying. I mean, all these police officers with, full-fledged riot gear and rifles. The protesters didn't have any weapons. They had no weapons. They were unarmed. Why do you feel you had to have rifles? Seriously? Your batons would have been enough to subdue anybody. Or a taser. Okay? But full-fledged rifles? That I don't see the need. Of course, the mainstream media has been saying that the protesters were violent. No, they weren't. They were not violent. And if you actually look to see what was going on, you will see that the mainstream media is lying, flat out lying. Yeah, it's been very peaceful. And it's like, okay, normally I don't get on this, but I that horse I should not be saying it was the horse. It was the mounted police officer controlling the horse, making the horse do what it did. Okay? Just like a gun is not dangerous, but the person handling the gun could very well be dangerous. Okay? It wasn't the horse. The horse was not the problem. It was the rider. Okay? The rider directed the horse to run over and trample a an elderly woman with a walker. And that police officer needs to be investigated and charged with assault. Okay? At the very least, assault, because there was no cause for that. Absolutely no cause. I've also seen where they manhandled old people, elderly people. Um, I've heard that there was another older woman that was assaulted, but I don't know. I didn't see it. Okay, so I can't really. But that is the woman with the walker. I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes live, and then I checked out other live streams. Okay, and they were showing it from different angles. Yes, clearly, very clearly, no ifs, ands, or buts, no denying it. It was intentional assault. Okay, that's what it was on an elderly citizen. They had snipers on the roofs of the buildings. Yes, I know. They were trying to make the peaceful protesters anger. Yes, it backfired on them. Yes, yes, I know. And there are more protests going on across the country from what I hear. I haven't been able to follow all of them because there's only so many hours in a day. And you can't watch everything. You just can't. Okay? So, but I wanted to put this out there because, and I even sent my family a group text. I said, look, because I know that most of them do not watch um, other sources of news. Okay, I've got one family member that does, but the rest of them don't. They all watch mainstream media. So I wanted to make sure I put it out there because the Fox report um, that came out, and I know that at least a couple of my family members watch Fox. I wanted to make sure they understood. No, that is not true. It was not fake news. It is true. She wasn't killed though. Now I heard that she had been hospitalized. Now I don't know if she's been released yet. I heard that there were broken bones. I heard which ones, but I can't confirm or deny it. So broken bones. Yes, I could see, especially an elderly person with a 2,000-pound horse tromping on her. Okay, so you figure 2,000 pounds. That foot came down. If another foot came up, you're talking 1,000 pounds, 500 to 1,000 pounds of weight on that woman. Okay, she's bound to have broken bones, and if she doesn't, it's a miracle. Um, so we go from possible kidding from a goat that I didn't expect to be kidding this early to controversial world events. Continue to pray. They have gone kinetic with injecting our families with poison and oh yeah, okay. They want me to hide your comment, but I'm gonna put it on here. Yeah. Injecting the families with poison, and unfortunately the only way to beat this would be to storm them with force and get the rope for all the treasonous politicians, bankers. Okay. That is something that would have to be decided in a court of law. Okay. And yes, they still have reasonable judges. There's also some that are not so reasonable, but there are still some reasonable judges out there. Okay. I'm not going to say like in France way back when, where they, stormed the castle and killed all the high ups, all the royalty, okay, nobility. No, I'm not going to go that far, okay. What they're doing, being peaceful, that is the right thing to do right now, okay. How many years did it take for Gandhi to get his people free, to get their independence? I believe that was India, okay. How many years did that take? And he held the line with peace. Look at Martin Luther King. Look at what he accomplished with peaceful protest. Not saying it's going to be easy, okay? I mean, there were people with Martin Luther King and Gandhi who were brutalized and assaulted and murdered. I mean, Martin Luther King himself was murdered. So, it's the right thing to do it peacefully. There may come a time when violence may be necessary. I pray and hope that it doesn't. There was a woman right next to her in a scooter that fell over. She was also hurt. Okay. I thought I saw another woman that fell. I didn't know that there was a scooter, okay, involved. I didn't catch that. But I wasn't sure how the woman in the walker, I think, got the worst of it from what I could see. Okay. And I was horrified. One thing that Canada has done, and I think it's going to come back to bite them real bad, is that they have given the banks the authority to freeze the bank accounts of those that were involved with the protests. Okay. There's been a run on the banks, from what I understand. That's what my son was telling me. And this is not going to bode well for the banks. I know the truckers were peaceful and in good faith, but the masses are so dumbed down now they go along with anything MSM says. All the judges are corrupt. This is a war. I have to disagree with you there. I don't believe all the judges are corrupt. Now, maybe I'm just being pie in the sky. I always like to think the best of people, okay? But I have to disagree with you on that one because I do know that there are good judges, okay? Don't know how many, but there are some good judges. Look at the judge who told the protesters early on at the beginning of this 3-week business that they had their constitutional right to protest, and there was nothing wrong with them being there. Okay, that judge stood up for the rights of the truckers and the Canadian citizens. The United States is just as bad as Canada. Soon you will see just how bad it is with the Durham report that there has come out. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'm still, waiting to see. I'm sorry, I have to disagree with that. There are some good judges trying to do the right thing. Yes, there are still some good judges. I mean, I know it's difficult times, and things are getting crazy, and they may very well get even crazier. I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of homesteading type channels are starting to talk more about prepping, stocking up food, and whatever supplies. I think that's a good thing if you're able. We are not necessarily able to stockpile a lot because we're on Social Security. Okay. I'm limited as to what I can do. But that's one reason I'm doing homesteading. Not because, okay, first of all, I have a heart for it. Okay. And I've always had it from when I was very young. Okay. God is dividing the goats from the sheep for all to see. Do you think Jesus is going to come sit down and have coffee with Bill Gates? No, the word says he will come with swords out of his mouth. His kingdom will be established after we empty the trash. Okay. Jesus will do that. Okay. And he's got the authority to do that. We don't so much. Okay. The peaceful avenue is the right way for right now. Okay. There may come a time when that will change, but it's not now. It's not today. And I don't think it's going to be tomorrow. Okay. Got to choose your words carefully. Otherwise you're going to make a whole lot more trouble than there really needs to be. I have been saying for some time, I believe we're in the end times, or at the threshold of the end times. Things are going to get bad. Okay. Bill Gates has already made his bed. Now, my favorite saying is, where there's life, there's hope. Okay. So, I mean, it's possible that Bill Gates could see the error of his ways and repent. I don't know. That's not for me to say, but God knows. Okay. If a man slaps you, you turn the other cheek for him to slap it also. The man will walk away humiliated if you stay in peace. Yeah. There comes a time when we may need to take up arms, but now is not the time. It's not right now. Hopefully we don't get to where we need to take up arms, but honestly, it's prophesied in the Bible that things are going to get bad. Okay? And who's to say where it's all going to end? Well, we know where it's going to end, in a glorious future. Okay? Where there is peace and love and harmony and no more tears and no more pain. We know that that is the end of everything. Okay? But as of right now, all we can do is pray, be as peaceful as possible. Now, if somebody comes after me and threatens my life, my family's life, do I have the means to protect them? Yes, I do. Okay. Will I use it? I believe I will. Do I want to? No, I don't. And I hope and pray I never have to, because that would be horrible. Okay. Same thing applies to the larger scheme of things. Go the peaceful route first. Okay. There may come a time when things need to be stepped up, but now is not the time. Okay. And I am not the person to say when that time is, for sure. So I mean, you can disagree with me if you want. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I am certainly no expert on anything. But from what I've seen over the years, just pray, prepare to the best of your ability as you protect your family, and had the means to do it. Yes. But I'll tell you, if there is a force that is greater than mine that comes and tries to do harm to us, I mean, based on my abilities, we're done for. And it would be only by the grace of God and his hand protecting me that we would come out of it. But you know what? I have no fear, because I know where I will end up beyond the shadow of a doubt. I know where my end is. I do not fear death. Okay? I have seen death in many forms, and I've come close myself, where I thought for sure that when I woke up, it was going to be on the other side in God's presence. It didn't happen, but I was fully believing that that's what was going to happen. Okay. So, been there. I don't fear it. I love my life. Don't get me wrong, but I don't fear death. So, well, this took a lot different turn than I was expecting, didn't it? Oh, you do not fight against flesh and blood. Exactly, but against principalities, yes. God has sent more angels to this earth than ever before. Man and angels will learn to do God's will. Well, the angels already know to do God's will. It's man that tends to be a little bit on the stubborn side. So, And that's been our downfall from the beginning. We get stubborn. We think that we know better, and you know, I tell you, it's crazy. It's a crazy time we're living in right now. I don't know what's going to happen. Um, if but there's a good possibility that um, the supply chain is already a mess. Okay, but it's possible that it could get worse. So if you have the means to um, start growing your own food, start raising your own meat, I think it's a good thing to do. If you don't have that ability, stockpiling as much as you can. Think the basics first. As God said, He is going to have a glorious church before His Son comes. This has already started. Well, hopefully, because there's also going to be a lot who are going to stray, that are going to turn the other direction. Um, so, I keep praying, and hopefully, people will wake up and see. But in the meantime, we can only do and deal with what we have right now, today, at this moment. Okay? And we can't do anything about the past and the future. We have limited influences. So, you know, anyway, I have to go see if I can find a goat and see how she's doing. I'm hoping and praying that she is not kidding outside the pen. Because if she is, and if there is a problem, we could have a real mess on our hands. So, but anyway, um, I am still looking for a trailer. I saw one on Craigslist that is a possibility. Price is right. In other words, it's affordable. The only problem is it's almost 3 hours away. So I'm not sure. That's quite a trip from my truck. Um, I added a second bottle of Seafoam, so I'm hoping that helps, but I don't know. I don't know. So I am just still trying to get things done around here when the weather cooperates. It's been a rough week this last week. By the way, my son did not get the job, unfortunately, that he went for an interview with on Monday. That was a disappointment because I think he would have been good at it. But, I guess God has other plans. He went, he did his best, and, he seemed to think he could handle the job, was confident in it. His problem is that he does not have a license. So, a lot of employers, if you do not have a driver's license, they are reluctant to hire you. So, at least in these parts, anyway. So, anyway, hang in there, guys. Do the best you can to prepare. Pray for all those that are fighting the good fight. Okay, that they will be protected. But at the same time, things are in God's hands. Okay, and we need to trust Him. So, I will talk to you later. Have a good one, everybody. And spring is right around the corner.